Hang all the mistletoe. I'm gonna get to know you better. Da-na-na-na-na. This Christmas. Hey y'all, it is that season. I'm excited. I'm my co-host may not be, but we are back for another episode of HBCU Sports The Roundtable. I'm Chris Stevens. As you can see, I'm ready to come off the injury list because a cold has been kicking my butt for the better part of a week, but I'm back ready to talk all the latest and greatest in Black college sports with you guys. We have our resident Kappa Alpha Psi brother Ken Rashad in the building. Ken, how's it going?
J5 is coming. J5 is coming.
And we
Ladies,
also
ladies, J5 is coming. We know. It's that time of year. And
yes,
we ain't talking about Christmas.
yeah, we talking about the ultimate dirty max in the HBCU Divine Nine stratosphere. I'm kidding. We do, and we also have Jared Hoffman, who is still repping Team Tiffany all day, every day. Jared, how's it going, brother?
All good, man. All good. Just ready for the holiday season.
Yeah, we all are, and we welcome you guys in. We thank you for tuning in as always. Before we get started, let's get down to the basics. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, become a level 1, a level 2 member, where you get all the information that we are fit to disseminate, which is a lot of it because we do things every day. Be sure to, if you want to donate to us, go to hbcusports.com/donate. Don't forget to use Zelle and use donate at hbcusports.com to give to us that way. And follow us on all manners of social media. We are on X, Threads, Instagram, Facebook. We're even on Blue Sky. You guys are like Blue Sky. It's a lot more peaceful over there. So now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, it is time to talk Michael Vick. Well, we did do an episode last night, but now that we have Ken and Jared with us, if you guys were under a rock or just busy getting that last minute Christmas shopping done, Michael Vick agreed to terms to become the new head football coach at Norfolk State. A press conference will be coming within the week, and Coach Vick, he says he's ready to lead. So I'm going to turn this over to Ken Rashad and let Ken give his thoughts on what he thinks about the latest NFL to HBCU hire.
Well, congratulations to Norfolk State. As we kind of pointed out prior to, when it was kind of only considered to be a rumor, or when it was at the very least reported that Norfolk State and Michael Vick were in talks, I said then that, this without question would be a splash hire. And that in addition to bringing on somebody like Mike Vick, it would be, we will be in a position to where at least for maybe for the next week or so, all of the focus, unless something greater happens, will be about Norfolk State football, something we have not talked this much about in a long time. As a matter of fact, I think the last time we talked about Norfolk State this much was for the MEAC Challenge. And a good portion of that was about my good friend Dawson Odoms, which was probably to his demise, but that's another subject. But no, so I guess congratulations first and foremost. Like I said, this is a hire that I believe in the case of Norfolk State is one that is just obviously to create a buzz. Now that they've successfully brought on Michael Vick, the obvious question is for someone who has zero coaching experience is who is he going to bring in to be on his staff? That is where obviously the attention is going to go. And I'm guessing chances are he'll bring on some folks who've got coaching experience. And then at that point, it just becomes a matter of, okay, how will they be able to leverage those coaches with respect to bringing in talent, recruits, NIL, transfer portal, and everything else that's become the norm. Will they be able to leverage that and make a big deal out of it? So it remains to be seen. But shout out to Norfolk State. Congratulations to them. You so far so good at this point. You're batting 1,000 early on.
As we've discussed many times on this platform, there's a there's cause for concern, cautious optimism and cautious skepticism as well when we talk about celebrity hires or splash hires. So, Jared Hoffman, what is your takeaway in the early stages of the Mike Vick experience at Norfolk State?
Well, I think we just got to see how it plays out. I, I I repeat myself that I don't think that Michael Vick is going to fail. I don't think he's going to be bad in this position. My only contention was that there were guys that I thought that I really wanted to get that shot because they've worked so hard to get into the position they're in. I said that Norfolk State should probably go after Dr. Alvin Parker, but that's only because of his history with Virginia Union and the way that he's built up that program. But I have no problem with Michael Vick being the coach. I would love for him to reach out to Dr. Alvin Parker, and at least they have a working relationship with each other, and they correspond with each other and help the development of their respective players, because Virginia Union has players that have NFL caliber talent or pro caliber talent, and Norfolk State, even now, despite their record this year, has talent that is NFL or pro caliber. So I think that this is good for Norfolk State. It's going to give them a lot of attention, be that good or bad. Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to see how it works out. I'm looking forward to see who he hires to be a part of his staff, because that's very important. That's very key. Obviously, guys like Eddie George and Deion Sanders, guys with names, are going to get the credit when things go right, but it's the staff that makes the team go. So I'm curious to see who he puts on his staff and helps to be successful. I believe it was his brother or his cousin, something like that said that he will be involved with the team. I'm not sure if that means that he's going to be on the coaching staff or he's just going to be there for support for his Michael Vick. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this plays out.
That's a great suggestion by K-Boy81. Since Byron Leftwich is from the DMV, I can see Coach Vick bringing him in around the program as an offensive analyst, or who knows, offensive coordinator. Byron Leftwich has kind of, sort of been disrespected when we talk about these coaching openings at the NFL level, at the PWI level. I don't know if he wants to coach at an HBCU level, but I mean, this is a dude who he was offensive coordinator when Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl. So I mean, he kind of knows what he's doing. So if Mike were to bring him in, or Coach Vick, we got to get used to calling him Coach Vick. So yeah, Coach Vick coming in, that would be very interesting. Our own Kendrick Marshall, he had a conversation with Michael Sauls of the Virginian Pilot earlier today. So Kendrick,
Yeah, so Michael, the one thing I wanted to ask, why Michael Vick wanted to pursue the Norfolk State job. You mentioned Sacramento State opportunity, but that didn't come to fruition. A lot of people doubt whether or not it was real, but why Norfolk State, and why did he want to get into coaching specifically?
Well, I do think that the Sac State thing was real. I'm pretty sure their president came out and said that they had spoken with Vick. As for how far along in the process that was, I don't know. I personally, again, purely speculation, I personally think it was a leverage play by Vick to try to, get something else from Norfolk State. Not sure what it is. We won't know how much he's getting paid until it's official and we can FOIA the contract. But I think he's shown signs of wanting to get into coaching. So it's one of those things where it's like you're the HBCU that is basically in your hometown, 30 minutes down the road, has an availability. Why not? Why not give it a shot? I think he said, and we included this in yesterday's story, that I think he said he told Adam Schefter in like 2017 that he wants to get into coaching in some capacity. He has been an intern, a training camp intern with the Chiefs. He was supposed to be the offensive coordinator. I don't know if you remember the American Alliance Football Spring League that is now defunct. Yeah. He was supposed to be the OC for the Atlanta team, and then ended up being like shifting to an advisor like 2 days before the season started. But so I think there have been times where it appears that he's shown interest in coaching or wanted to get into coaching, he told David Teal that I'm a leader, I know how to lead kind of deal. So I think it was just kind of a perfect timing type deal where Norfolk State job came open, and it was something that he's been interested in the past. And I've talked with people who said that he's shown interest in coaching recently, and so I feel like it was one of those kind of perfect marriages and perfect timing where Norfolk State job comes open and Michael Vick his interest is piqued, and voila, now you have Norfolk State head coach Michael Vick.
Yeah, I don't have to have one more question.
You know what I'd like to know is who's Chris? Yeah. What I'd like to know, and I guess we'll get the details at some point down the line in the future. I wonder who made the first call.
Yeah.
I want to know who made the first call. Did Norfolk State call Coach Vick, or did Michael Vick call Norfolk State? I would love to know who made that first call and when. Or is this something that has been, that this has been discussed prior to, and if so, how long? I really would like to know that, and I'm sure at some point we'll kind of get the specifics. But what were your guys' thoughts on the comments of that reporter?
It didn't surprise me at all that things happened as quickly as they did, and maybe Mike was using Sac State as leverage, but I don't think there was it felt like this was going to happen fast anyway, because we found out Monday that they had been in talks, and he expected to hear something before the year was out. So we knew we were probably going to find out one way or the other whether this was going to be this was going to be a thing. But the more you started to, hear through the grapevine, you started to feel like, okay, so this is really going to happen. So, it's not a surprise to me, but I do find it interesting that this was where Mike Vick wanted to be, because there were other HBCU openings, but he really wanted to come home, and I feel like that is something that is encouraging sign for Norfolk State, because he's a Hampton Roads guy, he's a 757 guy, and he says, I want to come help as best I can, and that program needs it, because as we've said, Norfolk State football has not been relevant in a competitive space for almost 40 years. So we're talking about 5 winning seasons in the 27 seasons they've been Division I. So what better way to, drum up some excitement and hopefully get some more recruits in than to have one of the greatest football players of his generation be your head football coach. So it's like, kind of like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal. So seems like it's going to be, it's going to work out well for both sides in the interim.
I just still kind of find it odd that Sacramento State was even in this discussion in the first place. Of all the schools in FCS, Michael Vick and Sacramento State, I just find that odd. Jared, any thoughts from that clip?
Yeah, I think it makes sense if Michael Vick was using Sacramento State for leverage, but I think that Norfolk State is in such a desperate state. I don't think that would have mattered. They would have given him whatever he wanted anyway. So I don't think that it was really necessary. But yeah, I just think that this brings a lot of excitement to the state of Virginia. They've had obviously Virginia State and Virginia Union sweep the CIAA championships. Virginia Tech and I believe is bowl eligible. With 2 former HBCU guys in Bayshore Tootin and Daquan Felton on the team. And I just think this adds to the excitement. It adds competitiveness to the recruiting in the state. With all the programs that are in the state of Virginia. So, yeah, I just think that this is a pivotal time for Norfolk State and its community and the football program. And I'm looking forward to see how Michael Vick attacks the recruiting trail.
By no means do I want to make this a downer, but there is a question that comes to mind, and we've had this conversation before about hiring, making these splash hires and hiring celebrity coaches, especially coaches who have zero coaching experience, as is the case with Michael Vick here. And I guess for the schools who are attempting to do this, and this is not a knock at Norfolk State, because I guess a similar situation took place at Jackson State. A similar situation is kind of taking place right now at Grambling. Is this hire a Band-Aid on a much serious issue of the football program? And what I mean by that is, provided that all goes well, Michael Vick comes in, and let's just say comes in, gets the right coaches, gets the right recruits, coaches lights out, they have phenomenal seasons, and before you know it, something happens, and he's out either one way or the other. Let's just assume this, as we saw with Jackson State, and it doesn't with respect to Deion Sanders. I guess my point is that does this or will this address any deficiencies? And the reason why I say that is because I've told the story before about Grambling. When Hugh Jackson accepted the position as head coach at Grambling, he took that position sight unseen. Hugh Jackson had never been to Grambling's campus. And I know that for a fact. I know for a fact that he took the job sight unseen. It was an opportunity to become head coach at the most iconic HBCU football institution in the country. And I guess he figured, well, it couldn't be much worse than Tennessee State. Not saying Tennessee State is bad, because actually from a facility standpoint, they've got an indoor facility there at Tennessee State. But my point is, I'm thinking it couldn't be that bad. And my understanding is that when he got off the plane and he finally set foot on Grambling's campus and he opened the door to that locker room, he was like, oh my God. So my point to this is, and I'm not saying that Norfolk State has an issue with facilities, but is there a problem that needs to be addressed that goes beyond just Michael Vick? Because even when Deion Sanders came into Jackson State, remember there was an issue about facilities. And while Deion Sanders was there, he made some improvements. He was able to get some improvements to the facilities at Jackson State. While Hugh Jackson was at Grambling, he had an incentive in his contract saying that, look, whatever monies you bring in, you'll get a portion of whatever monies you bring in to help the program, which to me isn't the responsibility of a head football coach. So is this a situation to where now we're bringing in Michael Vick at Norfolk State? Are there deeper problems with Norfolk State's football program that need to be addressed that Michael Vick alone can't fix?
That's going to be the question that we probably find the answer out to quickly, because I can tell you from personal experience that the Delaware State football program has not had a winning season since 2012. That's not by accident. That's not something that it's been a facilities issue. It's been a scholarships issue, because I told you guys before. I think I told you guys before about the equestrian situation.
No.
Okay, so real quick, the equestrian program was scheduled to be discontinued at Delaware State, and the equestrian program sued the university under Title IX protections. So to take the heat off, the university agreed to cut the football scholarships and give them to the equestrian team. Yeah, so DSU has been underfunded for football scholarships for a decade plus. So you're not going to get that many kids in, on financial aid and all of that, of a Division I caliber. So that's why they haven't had a winning record since 2012. They're trying to make inroads with facilities and things now, but Lee Hall wasn't going to be the solution for that. Rod Milstead isn't the solution for that, even if he comes back, because I'm starting to hear that might actually be a thing. I mean, I'm still working to kind of, get some more confirmation on that, but I'm hearing that there is, some mutual interest. But, if Norfolk State has problems, that go deeper than, Dawson Odoms or Michael Vick, we'll hear about them in short order. We should anyway. So I'm like you. I'm interested to see if that's something that's going to be, come to the light, because again, this is a program that has just not been relevant since they joined the MEAC.
Wow. 40 years. But HBCUs don't have huge endowments. This is from Pless Jones. But HBCUs don't have huge endowments, so him bringing in other sources of revenues is a plus. Look, when hires like this are made, that's what's expected.
Yeah.
I mean, but compared, and the thing is, and I want to be careful. I'm not necessarily saying that this is an HBCU issue, but there is a dynamic now that, it appears to be HBCUs that are going out trying to make these hires. And when these hires are made, I think that there is a certain level of expectation that probably goes beyond what a typical head coach should be responsible for. There's a part of me that thinks that Michael Vick, contractually speaking, might be responsible for some things that Dawson Odoms wasn't, and previous coaches who coached at Norfolk State in a head coaching position weren't. So, like I said, that remains to be seen. It's a state institution. I'm sure we'll get details on his contract and so forth as time goes. We'll before we go though, Jared, your final thoughts on this.
Yeah, I don't want to speak to the issues that Norfolk State may be facing that we may not see, because I just don't know, but as Pless said, and as many might believe, he could be somebody that aids in the financial gain for not only the city of Norfolk, not only Norfolk State University, but in the state of Virginia. I think a lot of recruits are going to look at Michael Vick coming to the Norfolk State. I think a lot of families in the Norfolk community and in the Virginia community are going to get behind this. But the fact of the matter is that Norfolk State University has been, in the past 2 decades, been a basketball school. Mm-hmm. And that's been their reputation. Michael Vick is not only trying to turn around a team who hasn't been relevant in years, he's trying to shift a mind state of a university that has always been, always been a basketball school. That's just what it has been. So that's not what Dion had to deal with. That's not what Hugh Jackson had to deal with. That's not what Eddie George had to deal with. Those are all historical programs in Jackson State, Tennessee State, and Grambling State. This is completely different. So yes, he may have the community behind him, but it's still going to take a lot of work for them to shift.
Great point.
Yeah, could be K-Boy, could be. The generation loves attention, but at the same time, what's going to happen when that attention doesn't work out well for them? Because we've seen how kids just constantly hit the portal back to back to back and still just aren't what they were at their original institutions. But we can talk about that another day. We do need to get on to this to the Black College Football Hall of Fame. The 6 inductees were announced today, and there were 25 nominees and 6 were chosen. And looking at the list, there's not a lot that you can fault with this list. I think it's just the size of the list that I have a problem with, because there were some worthy nominees. We talked about Rod Broadway and Rudy Hubbard the previous week, as coaches who needed to be in, because as Ken Rashad has said, we could really rename the Celebration Bowl the Rod Broadway Bowl, and nobody would flinch because he won that thing 4 times. You look at Rudy Hubbard; he's the only HBCU coach with the FCS 1AA national championship, the very first one in 1978 at Florida A&M. So, those 2 missing the boat here was kind of shocking. But as you can see, the inductees on your screen are Henry Dyer from Grambling, Coach Fred Pop Long of Wiley College, Rashawn Mathis from Bethune-Cookman, who had a long career in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars, J.K. Nunnally, who was part of the Gulf Coast offense at Florida A&M under Billy Joe, Dominic Rogers-Cromartie from Tennessee State, who had a long career in the NFL, and of course Jay Skywalker, who was the quarterback for the Showtime Bison of '93, who won the MEAC, and of course now is the one of the voices of Black college football for ESPN Plus. Come on, Tiger Nation. Jeez Louise. and I don't think that's fair because Jay, I always say it's unfair because Jay and Tiffany Green were cool enough to join us for our celebration prep show last year. So
Jay's my dude. I know what he meant by saying that, and I just don't see it. I really don't see it. But go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
Jay and Tiffany came on here and just chopped it up with us, and I don't see either of them as insufferable. I think they are a perfect representation of what you want your broadcast team to be for HBCUs. Do we need more voices like them? Sure, but the two voices we have on ESPN every week are pretty doggone good in my opinion. But yeah, just Kevin Rashad, you said it. You know, Rudy Hubbard should be in, Rod Broadway should be in. Neither of them are in the class of 2025. So why would that be?
You know, I would just simply say this. And I'm not going to comment on the current list. I don't have a problem with anyone on this list. It's who isn't on this list. What? I mean, damn. I mean, and I say this respectfully. Do they have to die before you decide to put them in the Hall of Fame? Is it too much to ask that you give them recognition while they're still living? Rod Broadway, seriously. I mean, if you were to have what makes Rod Broadway so unique is unlike some of the greats like Robinson, Gaither, Mumford, and the rest. Rod Broadway won everywhere he went as a head coach. I mean, everywhere. Every single job he had, North Carolina Central, Grambling, North Carolina A&T, he won championships. Here's something else you probably didn't know. For the time that he was the head coach at each of those programs, he produced all-time rushing records. He had running backs who eventually became the all-time rushing leaders for their respective institutions while he was there. That's just how impactful Rod Broadway was as a head coach. Where you have most of these head coaches, they do it in one place and they just stack up multiple championships. Rod Broadway just was like, yo, man, we just making chicken. He made chicken at North Carolina Central. He made chicken at Grambling, and he made chicken and potato salad at A&T. And you mean to tell me,
and some yams if you want,
and some yams, and you mean to tell me you can't put him on? You can't put him in? The man who currently is the person responsible for the only HBCU national championship we have at the FCS level. You mean to tell me he can't get in? Even though we already know Rudy Hubbard, who's still alive today, shared a story as to why he thinks he isn't in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, but yet is in the College Football Hall of Fame. So just think about that for a moment. And I'm not one who's in for conspiracy theories. I'm not one of those. But I do, there is a part of me now, the more that I think about this, especially those two individuals, there's a part of me that does think it is a little personal. I believe it is a little personal. Because of the I don't know them personally, but I've interacted with both of them to know that they're one of those type of I don't give a F type brothers. That's the type of people they are. And when I put in consideration who the individuals are on the other side, I can see where there's some personality clashing. You want to be fair by making them finalists, but you mean to tell me you can't make them inductees? Come on, man. We're talking Rod Broadway and Rudy Hubbard. You know how they talk about some of these NFL players and they'll say, oh yeah, he's a first-time Hall of Fame inductee. We talk about those type of people all the time. They talk about first-time Hall of Fame. He's going to be a first-timer. Those gentlemen should have been in. So Rudy Hubbard said that it might be personal. I'm beginning to believe him now. Because there's no excuse not to have Rob Broadway and Rudy Hubbard in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. No excuse whatsoever. I'm done.
I agree. Jared, your thoughts?
Yeah, I alluded to it last week that Rob Broadway, a lot of the reasons why Rudy Hubbard said he wasn't in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, a lot of those reasons align with Rob Broadway. He didn't go to an HBCU, didn't begin his coaching career at an HBCU, got his first head coaching job after years as an assistant at a non-HBCU. So I didn't predict that it was going to happen, that they were both going to be left out. But yeah, it's a bad look from the Black College Football Hall of Fame. I like you guys said, I don't have any issue with the guys that were selected. I'm just disappointed that Jimmy Smith didn't get in.
Yeah, I see somebody making it. Jimmy Smith is another one.
I get it. I get it. It mostly has to do with his collegiate career. His collegiate career wasn't as infamous as his professional career, but it's just the optics. He absolutely 1000% deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And now you give people a license to say he's not even in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. What makes you think he deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
And you already know about the stigma of wide receivers and how long it takes them to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Terrell Owens took embarrassingly long to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Chris Carter took embarrassingly long to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Randy Moss, get well soon to him. He should have been on the first ballot, and ridiculously, he was in on the second ballot. So it's just Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith, unfortunately, just being snake bitten by these Hall of Fame that he absolutely deserves to be in. Disappointed that Eddie Robinson Jr. didn't get in as well. Again, I know it has to do with more about the college career than the pro. If it had to do about the college career, absolutely Eddie Jr. deserves to be in, but yeah, it's just a black eye on this Hall of Fame class that Rudy Hubbard and Rod Broadway are not in. The legitimacy of this Hall of Fame is going to be lowered because Rudy Hubbard and Rod Broadway are not in. And the fact that Rashawn Mathis, the all-time leader in interceptions in the MEAC, the guy that has the most interceptions in a season, the two highest interception totals in a season, is just now getting in. That's crazy to me. But yeah, I don't have a problem with the guys that are in, but Rob Broadway and Rudy Hubbard not being in this year is a black eye on the Hall of Fame. So
there was someone who asked in the group or in the chat, what was the reason that Rudy Hubbard gave? And for those who are not aware, and it's out there on the internet, Rudy Hubbard, during an interview, when talked about how he had been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, but had not been inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame, Rudy Hubbard basically stated that he thought the reason why it wasn't done was because of the fact that James Shaq Harris and Doug Williams, but I think he alluded that I guess he didn't necessarily come through on some favors that they asked of him or something along those lines. I guess they wanted him to do something and he didn't necessarily do it or want to do it or didn't think it was necessary for him to do. So as a result, he didn't get in. Now, that in situations like that, it's always, hearsay, and it's always his side versus the other side. But all I'm saying is, man, if we're supposed to if this is supposed to be about acknowledging individuals for the work that they've done, the person who is the only head football coach to win an HBCU or to win a national championship at the FCS level for an HBCU, how does he not get in? How is he not, whenever the Black College Football, how did he not get in on the very first year that they had this? So yeah, there's a certain level of scrutiny that has to go along with this. There's no excuse for Rudy Hubbard and Rod Broadway not to be members of the Black College Football Hall of Fame.
And this is where I want to chime in before we move on to the next subject, because we have a couple more things we want to talk about before we sign off for the night. We got to stop this pettiness. I mean, we talk about stuff like this all the time. You know how, people can sometimes be their own worst. We can be our own worst enemy with how we treat each other. And I don't care if Rudy Hubbard, unless Rudy Hubbard called somebody's mama a name or stole money out of somebody's wallet. There's no way that man should not be in the Black College Football Hall of Fame when he's already in the NCAA College Football Hall of Fame. Like, he's in there with people like John Robinson, Ara Parseghian, Joe Paterno, who probably shouldn't be in there, but folks like that. He's in there with these folks, and y'all are telling me that he can't be in among the HBCU guys when he's the only HBCU coach with a Division I NCAA championship. I don't care what the optics are. I don't care if you ask that man to, do the Charleston, and he didn't want to do the Charleston. So what? He won a national championship. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Stop the pettiness, because it's only going to make you guys look like bigger jackwagons. See, I had to catch myself there. You make yourself look like bigger jackwagons than absolutely necessary. I mean, and I guess with Broadway, I don't understand Rob Broadway's exclusion either, because again, how many celebrations? Let me do the Kobe Bryant thing. 4 celebration bowls, 3 in a row. Yeah, he has almost half of the Celebration Bowl trophies in his closet. None of it makes any sense. But we do want to move on to.
Yeah, I was going to say we're getting a nod from the producer, from our producer. Like, move on. Okay.
Yes. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Celebration Bowl ratings are out, and they're pretty doggone good. The South Carolina State Jackson State game drew over 2.1 million people that watched on ABC this past weekend. And as Ken Rashad alluded to, this is a made-for-TV event. And the only numbers that ESPN, ABC care about is how many eyes were on a television that had a Celebration Bowl on them. And 2.1 million is most excellent. So, we could talk about the drop in attendance, which really wasn't a drop in attendance, as Jared pointed out on Monday. So, Jared, what are your thoughts about, that nice round 2.1 million viewership number?
Look, for people that's thinking that we're at a drop off from previous regimes, this shows you that we're not. We're right where we're supposed to be. This is right where we're supposed to be. People have to stop comparing ourselves to anomalies. 2021 and 2022 was an anomaly. Florida A&M and Jackson State, they want to believe that they are the ones that move the needle. You may be, but you got to understand that we support ours no matter what. And these are going to be the numbers that we're going to produce. These are normal numbers. These are great numbers. Even if you want to call them normal, there's times where we've had astronomical numbers, but these are the numbers that we set out to produce. These are attainable for us. If you think that we're just going to get 5 million, 10 million, something like that, that's more than likely that's incredible. But don't think that it's a bad thing if we only get 2 million. Only get 2 million? There's bowl games that don't even reach 1 million.
Did someone say only?
No, I'm not saying that anybody said that, but I'm just saying that don't think it's a bad thing if let's put it like this. Just say we got 2 million, 2.1 million this year, right? Don't be thinking like, oh, it's a drop off because we got 1.8 this year. That's the average number for us. That's good. That's a win. Like I said on Monday, the only time we should be panicking is if we get something astronomically lower than what we're used to getting. This is right on par for us. So do we want to strive to get those numbers up? Absolutely. well, that's more for ESPN than anything, but it shows that people want to watch us. It shows that people are paying attention. It shows that people are invested. So, of course, we want to get those numbers up, but let's not take for granted that we're staying on par with what we're used to.
Yeah, but now to that point, and let me just add to that point, because everything you said was valid. However, and I'm going back to the conversation that I had with John Grant, the executive director of Celebration Bowl, because you guys know I was kind of livid about them moving the game up, not giving the SWAC representative a week off to prepare for this game. And the decision was always and has always been about TV. Now, to John Grant's credit, this was strategic in that, and again, I'm not taking away anything that Jared just said, but this was strategic in that there wasn't a whole lot of competition as it relates to other college football games on at the time when the Army Navy game, because that came on at the game came on 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock where I was. Army and Navy came on what, mid-afternoon? It was pretty much over, right? It didn't compete up against it, if I'm not mistaken, or did it? I don't even know what time the game, and I didn't even watch the game. But there, so I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, everybody was talking, yeah, we got, Army Navy, and then there was a bowl game later, the Salute Bowl, whatever that was. There were not a plethora of bowl games on. There wasn't a whole lot of college football game outside of the FCS playoffs that had been played. That was it. So the fact that, for those who are just all about college football, and people can say, well, Jackson State, I understand for bragging purposes, but this was a strategic decision as it relates to viewership, maximizing the Celebration Bowl with the intent to get as many people to watch this game on TV as possible. Because there were, there were reports, people were talking about the attendance. I'm gonna just tell you guys something right now. I understand how attendance with us is important. We wear it with like a badge of honor because we take pride in the fact that we go out and we support our teams during the course of the regular season. Now, for those games, for those classic games during the course of the season, like the Bayou Classics and the Florida Classics and the Magic City Classics and all of these other classics that are out there, yeah, attendance is a big deal because that's the primary revenue driver that makes it possible for the teams and everybody who played a part in getting those games set to be played. Attendance is not the key here with the Celebration Bowl. Again, ESPN is a TV network. ESPN Events is a subsidiary of ESPN, and ESPN Events is all about making made-for TV events, which makes money for ESPN. So the more people who watch, the more money ESPN makes, the more they're likely to keep the Celebration Bowl going. When it's time for that contract to renew, chances are they'll say, hey, business is good. We're making more money. And guess what? Now we're willing to pay the MEAC and SWAC more money. We're on the second contract right now with the Celebration Bowl. We being, the MEAC and SWAC. So just I'm trying to explain all this because while I understand people place a lot of value in attendance doesn't apply to the Celebration Bowl. So just wanted to put that there.
Yeah, and there's always going to be, because next year will be year number 10 because we missed out on the 2020 game, of course, because of COVID. But when you take into account that this is the average for us, that we're averaging over 35,000 people in the stadium and 2 million people on television, that, as Jared said, there are some bowl games. The Salute to the Troops, for crying out loud, there's a bowl game with a live action Pop-Tart. There are some shenanigans out there with these bowl games. So for us to be ranking up a little higher than those bowl games, that helps. No, we're not going to surpass the Rose Bowl. We're not going to surpass the Fiesta Bowl or the Orange Bowl or the FCS playoffs or whatever, but we still have drawing power. And the more people watch on television, the better it is for our kids and better it is for our schools. So that number is very encouraging, and I hope that it continues to rise. But the programs that do make it to the game, it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said last year, I said it. We had the Black Excellence Bowl last year with Florida A&M and Howard, and in the previous 2 years, we had Deion at Jackson State. That absolutely mattered. So when you have something to draw people in, that absolutely helps. So, and then Jackson State being as successful as they were, in South Carolina State, jumping up and surprising people, and of course, Chennis Berry having the personality that he has, he was able to draw some people in that way. So there's a lot to like about that number, but hopefully there's a way we can sustain it, and we just got to have the best teams keep winning. That's my opinion. Let's see. Mr. 32K TV, he says, random thought, my opinion, if it was on BET, it wouldn't get the numbers like it would have back in the day. I think that's a fair conclusion because, for one,
it's all about distribution for one.
Yeah. And I think nostalgia kind of gets in the way of us moving forward because yes, we can remember those BET Saturdays when the legendary Charlie Neal was on the call, George Johnson was on the sidelines. If you're of a certain age, if you remember George Johnson doing BET Sports, that's how you've been around a while.
Yeah.
And yes, those were great days, but I think we give those days too much credit instead of just trying to work on what we have right now. Mm-hmm. And what we have right now is a deal with the largest sports entertainment firm in the universe. It don't get no bigger than ESPN. They have ESPN Deportes. Habla Español.
All right.
It's ESPN. And
ESPNW.
Yeah. They even have an arm for women's sports now.
Yeah.
So, this is huge for us. And the fact that they came to us and said, hey, we want to take your 2 champions from your 2 D1 conferences. We'll give you guys $1 million and you guys can play in Atlanta. You will get all the perks of being the first game on television during bowl season. Yeah. That was an easy decision. I think that was one of the few smart things that Dennis Thomas ever did. So there's a lot to like about, where the Celebration Bowl is going, but we have to keep the momentum going. We absolutely have to keep the momentum going. And since this is the Roundtable, it is very important. Well, Mr. Ford, ABC owns ESPN.
Yeah.
So it still counts.
Right. It still counts.
It still counts all the same.
It's all, it's all Disney.
I was going to say it's all Mickey. It's all Mickey in them ears.
Yeah.
So as this is the Roundtable, we have a off-topic subject. And since this will probably be the last episode we do before the holidays, let's discuss the Christmas holiday. And so this comes from our esteemed producer and senior editor Kendrick Marshall. And I do wonder if the spirit of the holidays has been lost. Let's just look at the state of the world. Look at what's awaiting us in 2025. We don't get snow no more. I've been dreaming of a white Christmas my entire life, and I have not seen a white Christmas, and I live in the Mid-Atlantic, and that's kind of frustrating to me.
So what's the question? So we got to frame the question so folks know.
So the question from Kendrick is: does Christmas hit the same? Especially now that we're adults. So and I know Kevin Rashad, he's a husband, he's a father, he's probably outgrown, the giving phase of his life. But from when you were a kid to now, how does Christmas feel different for you, you would say?
Let me just say this for correction. I may have outgrown the gift giving phase, but my damn wife and kids have not outgrown the gift getting phase. They haven't outgrown the gift getting stage. And it's getting more and more expensive each year. So anyway, so now, man, I understand the basis for the question, and I guess from a traditional standpoint, nothing is what it used to be. But man, you kind of put it out there. You know, it don't snow like it used to. Yeah, granted, I grew up in LA, so you're talking to a guy that back in the day, people went out and they bought live trees out on lots in LA. And if you wanted to get you a pink Christmas tree, you could get you one.
Oh, wow.
Pink Christmas trees, yes. And red Christmas trees. You can get them out there at that time. I don't know if they do that now, but they certainly did it back then. And they did sell out. So I don't know, man. Like I said, the economy has changed. I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and even New Year's, but Q4 is still Q4. But it's not the same as it used to be. I just don't know if it's. I'll admit, I don't get as excited about Christmas as I used to. What about you guys? I mean, it's, I look forward to the food, and I look forward to family. I'll have a ton of family and friends. I look forward to that. But as far as like the anticipation, no, it's not what it used to be.
Jared?
Yeah, no. Christmas has always been for the kids. That's really all it's been for. At this stage in my life,
you said shit too expensive.
That's class entertainment. He ain't wrong.
Yeah.
At this stage in my life, Christmas is just all about reflecting on my year, giving thanks to God for surviving another year, still, and being thankful for the family that I still have that are still alive to this day, So it's not really about me per se. It's really about giving honor to God for me personally. I'm cheap, so I'm not going to pay for gifts. I don't ask for gifts because I don't want people spending no money on me. And yeah, gifts ain't really important. It's just about like I said, just giving honor to God is really the only important thing about the Christmas holiday to me personally. But it's always been for the kids. I still enjoy Charlie Brown Christmas, love Charlie Brown. So that's really the only thing that I look forward to during the Christmas holiday. I don't look forward to seeing A Christmas Story all on for 40 days and 40 nights to the end of the year, but yeah, then Christmas doesn't have the luster that it had as a kid, and it's because I'm not a kid anymore. So
right.
Yeah. I think for me, because I'm one of those people who for years I can't wait for Christmas. And even as an adult, I'm a single guy with no children, so it's not like I have really any real gift giving to give or anybody I still go to my mom's house to eat when she's in the mood to cook or whatever for Christmas, but most of the time I'm just watching football and basketball at the crib. But I have my tree, I have my lights up, and I love listening to Christmas music. So I mean there's still a wonderment to the season for me, but it's still not it's not the same wonderment I had as a child. Like Jared said, it really is for the kids. Like for me, it's a fun time for me to listen to music that I can't listen to the other 11 months of the year. And let me put you guys up on something. If you have not listened to Alexander O'Neal's My Gift to You album yet, that's the best Christmas album that nobody talks about. That brother put the cocaine down and did his good singing on My Gift to You. So please go listen to that album. It's produced entirely by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You can't go wrong with that. But yes, the Christmas music is fun to me. My favorite Christmas movies are This Christmas, Friday After Next. I watch those on a loop. I'm like Jared. I can do without A Christmas Story. I mean, it's just like, how many times can the Fragile line be said over and over again? Okay, we get it. Whatever. But yes, I just it is a holiday for kids, but I still feel like I think that's the key, is that you still have to have a level of the kid inside of you. You still have to find a way to let that kid out to play at certain times. And adulthood is hard enough. Adulthood is hard enough. I mean, we got bills. Some of us got ailments. Like I'm telling you, like I told you guys, I am dealing with a cold from hell. Yeah, I'm just now starting to feel like my normal self again. So, I mean, we got bills, we got ailments, we got family, some of us may have issues with people at our job. We may have issues in our family relationships, our romantic relationships, our friendships. You still need to find time to put something aside to where you can just, be light of heart, just be like the song said, like Nat King Cole once said, for kids from 1 to 92. That's how you have to approach Christmas. Like, you just have to have a sense of, okay, I've had, maybe this year hasn't been the best, but I still have this 1 week of the year where I can, enjoy these jingle bells and different things of that nature and just be a kid again, if only for a couple of days. And I think that's why I still hold on to the magic of Christmas, because I don't want to lose that spirit. I don't want to lose that spirit of wonderment. I don't want to lose that spirit of joy. I don't want to lose that spirit of, like Jared said, gratitude, attitude of gratitude. I mean, like Jared said, you just have to, reflect and be grateful for the days that you've had and the days that are to come. And it feels like Christmas is the best time to be able to do that. So, I mean, like I said, I may have to go to Canada for a white Christmas, because it ain't happening in the United States anytime soon.
It's not even happening where you are.
No, it was literally in the forecast. It was supposed to snow Christmas Eve, and now all of a sudden it's like, nope, it's just going to be 45 degrees with rain.
There's been no snow at all. There's been no snow at all so far.
We had like maybe a couple traces earlier in Thanksgiving weekend, but other than that, no snow.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, climate change.
I think the biggest thing that's hurt Christmas is the mind state of us as adults. People on social media. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think we've seen a lot of greed, a lot of envy, a lot of people, and that breeds and not to get too dark, but it is what it is. Social media has breed a lot of people who have become envious and greedy, and mm-hmm. it feeds into depression that is already seeping through the younger generation. I think if a lot of people were more focused on what they have rather what they hadn't, the holiday season will be a lot more enjoyable. If a lot more people did more to feed into their communities during the holiday season, yes. Doing some community service events, going to church services and getting a message that affects you positively, and spreading love rather than, talking down on people who don't have something that you may have. It's a way to be happy for what you have, but you don't do it by making someone feel bad for not having it. You know what I mean? And you see all these videos on social media of people being mistreated, and it doesn't breed any sort of happiness. And during the holiday season, it becomes even worse, because you have people who have lost family members and aren't able to spend time with their family members for the first time in a long time when the holiday season comes around. And combined with all the treatment that they've gone through over the past year, it just makes things worse when the holidays come around and they don't have their family member to console them. So I think if the mind state of people changed, which is never going to happen because social media has just become that much ingrained in our society, then things will be a lot better. But to everybody watching, I just want to challenge you to do something selfless for someone that is not in your family, and see the joy that it brings you to put a smile on someone's face when they didn't expect something to happen good for them that day. It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be money. It could be, making a meal and giving it out to someone you see an unhoused person. It could be doing a community service event. It could be doing a coat drive. It could be, passing out blankets to people who are unhoused. It could be just spreading a message of cheer and giving someone words of encouragement. We got 2025 coming up. Just letting people know that 2025 is going to be your year. Keep going. Just words of encouragement. Get yourself, you can do things to get yourself in the right mind state to be of good spirit to someone else. Getting in the gym and keeping active, and not just sitting and stewing in your own thoughts, so that you're a better person for others. That's what we need during this holiday season. We need to pour into others. And if you're not in the space where you can be of service to others and you can be good to others, then find things that make you happy so that you can be, that these holidays can be better, and that you go into 2025 with a different mind state, and we can start to change things so that Christmas can start to feel more joyful rather than sorrowful.
Yeah. So let me end. But what?
Oh, and our producer is with us, Kendrick.
Just come in.
I made it. Yeah.
Kendrick?
So
yeah, I'm gonna give you a chance because I'm gonna end it, and I'm actually I got my thoughts about the current subject, but you J-State folks are gonna want to probably stick around for something I'm gonna say to conclude this show.
see, man, this is exactly why you're the most hated man on Link Street right now.
No, this is overwhelmingly positive what I'm about to say. This ain't got nothing to do with daddy talk. This is about this particular subject. I might floor you with what I'm gonna say, but I promise you it is going to be overwhelmingly positive. Almost to the point to where I might even get in trouble saying it. So I'll leave that at that. So go ahead, Kendrick. Your thoughts.
Yeah, but to the topic at hand, I agree with Jared said, just make time for self-care during this period. Do for others if you can, if it's in your spirit to do for others. And that can make Christmas a little bit more joyful and bearable for some people. But for me, it don't feel like Christmas because I live in North Carolina and it's 65 degrees today. It's not going to snow on Christmas Day. But I will say, having a 1-year-old son and being around every day with his youthful exuberance and just joy and happiness all the time, he don't understand what Christmas is just yet, despite the fact we have a tree in our house and he tries to pull all the decorations off of it all the time. I know, when he gets to the age he kind of understands it all, I'm gonna have a different perspective on it. But yeah, just experiencing Christmas through him probably will renew my excitement for it, because I know he's excited about everything. He's excited about seeing Santa Claus, what he's gonna do tomorrow. He's gonna go to the mall and see Santa Claus. So doing all that stuff can help reinvigorate that kid feeling Jared was talking about earlier, Chris talking about earlier. So yeah, just experiencing it through him is gonna help me a lot. But these last few years, man, with everything been going on in the world, especially with COVID and how especially 2020 and 2021, it really restricted us movement. It really forced us not to be together as we wanted to. I remember 2020 we had a Zoom Christmas in our family, and they don't hit the same Zoom Christmas as it was being in person. But the way the world is changing, and as adults, we got responsibilities, we got bills, we got kids. We're not thinking about Christmas and being festive, but seeing Christmas carols. And I will take exception to Jared saying, "What a Christmas Story." That's the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Oh, you too, Chris?
That movie.
You like it either?
Yeah. Oh, I'm tired of it. You can put your eye out, fragile. Get your tongue stuck on. Get out of here. That's white people.
It's tradition, man. It's Thanksgiving.
I knew that was coming.
It's Chris, the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, the Lions on Thanksgiving, the NBA on Christmas. A Christmas Story is the entertainment of the entire week leading up to Christmas. I watched TBS for all 48 hours to show that movie.
God bless.
Yeah, but I just
want to say it's a Christmas Story, and what's the other one with Jimmy Stewart?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No, that one sucks, but Christmas Story, that's a good one.
I just want to emphasize I know I said do well for others, but I think it's important what Kendrick said. Self-care is very important. You can't help yourself. I mean, you can't help others if you're not taking care of yourself.
Amen.
So please take care of yourself during this holiday season. Find things that make you happy. Find something that can make you happy. Lean on others. If you are in a point where you are finding yourself saying, I'm not happy today, you're getting up and you're trying hard to find things to make you happy, and it's making it impossible. Lean on others. Talk to somebody. You can't do it alone. There's nothing in this world we can do alone. So don't think that you could just struggle in silence and things are just going to get better. We all know the definition of insanity. So try something new. You never know how much it'll change your life. So I know I put the challenge out to do something for somebody else, but another challenge is do something that'll make you happy. Find something that'll make you happy and do it consistently. And then find new things when those old things run out. Because we can't help others if we can't help ourselves either.
Well, let me say this. With respect to everything that's been said up to this point, I think it's safe to conclude that Christmas ultimately is what you make of it. No matter what situation you are in financially, no matter what situation you are in spiritually, no matter what your current conditions are, Christmas is what you make it. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's a good or a bad thing, but I am one who believes, especially as I get and mature in my later years, that just about everything that you do, it's all about perspective and mindset. So yes, even though first and foremost, for those of us who are Christians, Christmas symbolically celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ. But ultimately, because there for all of the festivities that we're involved with, the tradition, the Christmas carols, the Christmas movies. Die Hard, by the way, is not a Christmas movie, but I sure love watching it during Christmas. Anyway, I just think that as everyone has said, look, man, do something good for someone else. And the reason why it's important, we talked about social media. I mean, unfortunately, here we are, and as is becoming commonplace, we just had a mass shooting at a school. And you know what? The shooter was a 15-year-old girl. It was a girl. So while the world that we live in isn't necessarily getting better, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be of the world.
Yes.
So, put things in perspective. Tomorrow isn't promised. And, let's just continue to do good work, whether it be for yourself, whether it be for someone else, whether it be for your loved ones, whatever the case may be. Now, with that said, let me tell you something. And this is on topic. To you, Jackson State folks, first of all, congratulations on winning the Celebration Bowl. But I want you to know right now, and I'm dead serious, and I say I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Not that I care. I'm not going to be in trouble, but I'm telling you guys now. To the Sonic Boom, the show that you did, I think that was last week. I saw the video during the SWAC championship game. That Christmas show that you did was absolutely phenomenal. It was stellar. And if any of you haven't heard it, the sound was tremendous. Now, I'm not an expert on bands. I did march in the band in high school under Conrad Hutchinson III, the son of Conrad Hutchinson Jr. at Grambling. His son was my band director at Inglewood High. So I know a little bit about music and so forth and arrangements. And I'm going to tell you now, man, The band played "What Do the Lonely Do" at Christmas,
I need to go.
And
I
as
need
a-
to go find that.
and I listened to it. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, and I swear to you, when they played that, you know what I said? God damn, it was that good. I'm telling you. Shout out to the Sonic Boom of the South, man. That Christmas show was phenomenal. And I will look. You guys know I don't have a problem giving credit when it's just exceptional. It's just exceptional. I told FAMU folks back when they visited the campus and so forth, to the Sonic Boom of the South. When you look, I'm gonna just say, fired up, Jay, stay fired up. That halftime show was phenomenal. Kudos to you for that. As a matter of fact, I even told somebody, shit, y'all need to make an album. Make a damn Christmas album. Those songs were phenomenal. The penmanship was excellent. And if you make that album, you can cut me a check donation. I'm just saying, suggestion, because I know y'all gonna buy it. But anyway, and I would be remiss. Let me just say this, because this is important, and I don't want to. And I don't want to end the show on a downer, but with just what respect to what was said previously, I found out today, I person who was near and dear to my heart, and some of you noobs who are listening probably know who this brother is. Brother by the name of Keenan Green, who passed yesterday. He did have a long-term ailment. But when I tell you he was a quintessential Grambling man and a quintessential man of Kappa, he touched a lot of lives. And that's why I wanted to focus on that. Keenan, rest in peace, brother. Yeah, you battled. You fought a good fight. And you're going to be missed. You're going to be missed. So, like I said, I had to say that. I don't want to necessarily end the show on a down note, but I had to say that to get that off my chest. But back to you folks at J State, man. Hey, the Boom, look, man, phenomenal halftime show. And yeah, Chris, if you get a chance, go look at it, because they did What Did the Lonely Do at Christmas. And I'm telling you, man, it was phenomenal. I was just like, wow.
That's one of my favorite Christmas songs, so I'm absolutely going to look that up.
Man,
so,
I'll send you the link. It was all that. It was all that. Yes, sir. So go ahead and take it out.
With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, before we sign off, we would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel, become a level 1 or level 2 member, so you can get all the information that we disseminate and collect and share with you all. And we work hard at HBCU Sports. We post several stories a day. We do this podcast 3, 4, 5 days a week sometimes, and we love to keep this going. So you guys can donate. Go to hbcusports.com/donate, or if you want to do the Zelle route, donate at hbcusports.com. You can also follow us on all manners of social media: X, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. We're everywhere. We're everywhere you want to be, kind of like Visa, but we kind of need you guys to open up your visas and help us out a little bit. So if you could do that for the holidays, we would greatly appreciate it. So thank you all for watching. He's Kendrick Marshall. That is Ken Rashad. J5 is coming. Hide you ladies. Jared Hoffman, Team Tiffany all day long. And I'm Chris Stevens, finally over this doggone cold. We love you guys. We thank you very much. And we hope you have a blessed and safe holiday season. We out.